Gentlemen, what is going on today? My name is Ryan Mickler. I'm your host and the founder of the Order of Man podcast and movement. Today is your Friday Field Notes. This is a monologue, typically something I've been thinking about from throughout the week, or a question that gets asked, or an experience that I had that triggers some of these conversations. And today, I thought I would address a very common question that I get from a lot of men, which is, how do I have the confidence to fill in the blank? So, how do I have the confidence to approach women? How do I have the confidence to ask for raise? How do I have the confidence to start a business? How do I have the confidence to any number of things that we want to be confident in, that we want to move towards, our goals, our desires, our objectives, our dreams? How do you develop that confidence? And I think that a lot of guys tend to believe that if they just had the confidence, like if some magical fairy could sprinkle little magical powder dust over them, that they could have this confidence, then all their problems would be solved and they'd have all the things that they want to have. And unfortunately, I mean, that'd be really nice, but unfortunately, it just doesn't work like that. It has to be nurtured, it has to be developed, it has to be built. So I'm going to explain how you do that. I'm going to explain a better question than how can I gain confidence, a better question that will actually create the right formula for you. And then we're going to talk about 5 ways to build up what it is I'm going to share with you. Before I get into that, just want to let you know that right now we've got our battle planners are back in stock. I've got the leather one here. I just refilled it with a new insert, but our battle planners are back in stock. If you go to orderman.com/TWBP, as in 12-week battle planner, orderman.com/TWBP. You can check that out. Hats will be back in stock soon. And then also check out our 30 days to battle ready program at orderman.com/battle ready. All right, guys, let's get into this. So again, the question is, how do I develop the confidence to fill in the blank? It's the wrong question. What you're doing when you ask that is you're chasing the outcome of something else. And the correct question is, how do I exhibit enough courage to achieve my goals and objectives? So you don't need confidence. Everybody thinks they need it. Oh man, if I just had confidence, then I'd be able to do the thing that I want. No, that's not how it works. What you need is courage. You need to have the testicular fortitude to go out and do something that's meaningful and significant, whether it's asking that woman on a date or starting the business or asking for the raise or having a difficult conversation with one of your children. It just requires courage. Now, this is a beautiful thing because you cannot manufacture confidence. You can't. You can fake it. You can have a bunch of bravado and beat on your chest and tell everybody how alpha you are, but that's not confidence. You're hiding something when you do that. It's ego, it's arrogance, it's pride, it's fake. Everybody sees right through it. And if they don't, it'll come crashing down soon, anytime, anyways. So we're not going to chase the outcome. We're going to pursue what produces the outcome, and that's courage. It's just doing it because you know it needs to be done. You're afraid. I get it. You see a beautiful woman, you're afraid. You need to ask the boss for a raise, you're afraid. There's risk associated with it. There's risk of rejection. There's risk of failure. There's risk of financial loss. There's risk of being ostracized from a group. This is all ingrained into our biological DNA over tens and hundreds of thousands of years for us to stay alive and pass on our genes. So you're afraid, and that's okay. But having that fear is a pretty good indicator that maybe you should do it. Now we have to use some discernment. If you're on the edge of a cliff and it's muddy and slippery, I probably wouldn't say just face your fear and walk on the edge of the cliff. No, because you might die. But in most cases, that's not what we're talking about. You might get made fun of. You might lose a little money. You might get some rejection. And so what? So what? So here's the formula. Don't ask how I can gain confidence. Instead, how can I exhibit courage? And here's the formula. Courage, if you exhibit that enough, will lead to competency, right? Because if I'm courageous enough to take action towards starting a business, let's say, or making a bunch of sales calls and I'm afraid of rejection or people turning me down and I got to make the bills, but I do that enough and I get better at it. When I was in the financial planning practice, this was years, decades ago, almost at this point. Man, that's crazy to think. It really almost has been 2 decades since I started in my financial planning career. I would make cold calls and I was so afraid. but I did it anyways because I knew that was what was required. And then I got better at it. I started to have some results. I started to have some success. I was tracking my numbers and I was seeing my conversion ratios going up and I was getting new clients. And I built that business to a very lucrative business over a course of about 9 years because I had some level of competency. And then what happened is I pick up the phone 5, 6, 7 years into my financial planning practice. That was no longer a concern of mine. I was confident enough that I could A, get the appointment I needed, or B, not get the appointment, but not have it wreck my life and just move on to the next thing. So, guys, instead of saying, how can I get confidence? How can I be like, no, just exhibit courage because all that takes is a decision where you cannot manufacture confidence. It has to be organically built. You can exhibit courage simply because you make a choice to do it. And it's not that you aren't afraid, it's that you're afraid, but you do it anyways because your goals, your desires, your dreams and ambitions are worth more to you than being prohibited from the fear. So, again, the formula: courage, enough courage leads into competency, and enough competency then naturally and inevitably leads to confidence. So let's talk about how you can exhibit more courage because that's really what we want to do. We as men, we want to be more courageous. All of it. I talk with so many men on a daily basis who have these great ideas and these great visions and all the wonderful things they're going to do. And they talk about their New Year's resolutions. Most of them are not talking about that anymore because they've stopped. They have these ideas and visions and dreams and the way they like to see the world, and they won't do it. They won't do anything about it except for yap to their wives about how wrong the world is or how this is going to be the year. I don't want that in my life. I've been there, no doubt, but I'm not interested in that. I'm actually interested in improving myself. I'm interested in improving the environment around me. I'm interested in being a value add to my people. That's my family, my friends, my community members, my neighbors, etc. And that requires courage. So how do we do this? Number one, make a plan. All right. Look, I'm going to give a little disclaimer on here. Some of you guys listening actually don't need to make any plans because you've already done all that. So you need to ask yourself, is that really you? Have you already done that? Because there is a risk in planning for some of you in that you think just because you're planning, you're actually moving the needle. You're not. You're only preparing to move the needle. That's it. So some of you guys are over planners. You're too analytical. And therefore, I'm not speaking to you about creating a plan. You already got that one unlocked. For you, you just need to go. For some of you, this tends to be me more often than not, is we just fly by the seat of our pants, wing it, hope it works out. I'm okay with that because I know nothing is really all that catastrophic if it doesn't work out. But there's some of you who are so afraid of what might happen, but you've actually never thought about what might happen. You've never thought about how you would approach a conversation with your boss or how you would actually start a business or how you would approach that woman. You've never thought about if it goes south or goes the wrong way, what do I say? What do I do? How do I pivot? How do I make this less uncomfortable? How do I bow out gracefully? You need to, they call it red teaming. You need to go through all of this in your mind. Okay, if I do this, how is this going to work? Again, this is not for you planners. Some of you guys are over planners and you're overthinking it. For you, if you've been planning for years to do something, just do it already. But for those of you who are afraid of doing something and it's seizing you up a bit, you need to start planning that and play it out, map it out. Okay, that's the first step. Number two, this is one a lot of analytical people mess up. And that is you make a bigger deal out of everything than it really is. And we can't do that. We too often we put too much weight on what might happen. You know, if your business doesn't work out, what's the worst that can happen? You're going to be out some money. You're going to be out some time. Are you telling me your life is going to be over? Are you telling me you're going to be financially destitute forever? No, of course not. That's not how this works. If that woman rejects you, like, are you never going to approach a woman? Are you going to be alone forever? Are you bound and determined to be single for the rest of your life? Is that your fate? No, it just means she wasn't interested for whatever reason. Like, let's take the load off our back for a little bit and say, you know, not everything is as big a deal as I think it is. And not everything is as big a deal as the news and media outlets would have it be. Right. Because if they can make everything bigger than it is, they're going to get you riled up, worked up, and then you're going to pay attention. And that's what they want. That's what I want too. So let's not pretend that I'm immune to hyperbole and making things seem bigger than they really are. Guys, like lighten up a little bit. Okay. It's not the end of the world. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. You know, I'm in the midst of dealing with some really difficult, challenging circumstances right now with regards to my failed marriage and going through this divorce. I'm not being flippant about it, so please don't misunderstand me, but I also know that life is going to be okay. And then I'm going to make better decisions moving forward. And I'm going to meet new people and I'm going to have new opportunities and I'm going to continue to build powerful relationships with my children. I'm going to continue to partner with my ex-wife in raising our children together. Like it's okay. It's not good. It's not ideal. I would not wish this upon anybody, but it's okay. I'm giving myself an opportunity to just take the backpack full of rocks off for a minute and just let life play out. Do the right things and have faith that it's all going to work out. And you just have to get the reps in. That's the deal. You just have to get the reps in. That's what builds confidence. So we have make a plan. We have don't make everything a bigger deal than it needs to be. A no is a no. It means nothing. It literally means nothing. If you go to your boss and you say, hey, I'd like a promotion, he says no, like, you're not a failure. Your life isn't over. You don't have to quit. Like, just lighten up. Maybe ask him a few questions as to why that is and when you can review it. Okay. Number three, this kind of falls in line with number two, but I don't want us to be tying our worth to the outcome of our actions. You don't need to tie up your worth in the outcome of your actions, because if you do that, then you're never going to swing the bat, to use that analogy. You won't. If you say, hey, if I come up to plate, and we'll use this analogy a little bit more, if I go up to the batter's box, because I'm coaching my two sons' baseball team, so I've got baseball on my mind. If I step up to bat and I believe in my mind that if I strike out, that I'm a horrible baseball player. I don't deserve to be on this team. I'm a horrible player. I let the team down. Like my life's over. I'm a failure. I'm a loser. I suck. I'm stupid, whatever. How how often do you think I'm going to be interested in going up to bat? Never. Never. Because I don't want to expose myself to that risk. So if we think about that in life, if you think that because you didn't get a raise that you're a loser and you're no good at this business and you can't provide for your family and everything's going to be horrible, and then your boss is going to think less of you, and then maybe you'll get fired. You're never going to ask for that promotion. If we're talking about women, you see an attractive woman, or you're acquainted with a woman you'd like to ask out, and you think that if she rejects you, that you're a piece of shit, that you're ugly, that you're not a good human, that you're not worthy of love. These are all things people tell themselves. I've told myself these things too. You really think you're going to go ask that woman out? You really think you're going to approach that woman? Of course you're not. So, guys, let's not attach our worth to the outcome of our actions. Now, we should evaluate the outcome of our actions, because I need to know if this works or not so I can continue to do the things that work and revamp the things that don't. But that doesn't have anything to do with my worth. Your worth as a divine son of God has nothing to do with the fact that maybe you failed at something, or maybe you made a bad choice or a series of bad decisions and it led to bad outcomes. Is your worth diminished? No. Reputation, maybe. Credibility, sure. Financial, your pocketbook might be diminished and hurt in some way if you do these things, but your worth as a human is not. And you can grow and you can develop and you can get better and you can improve. Your worth has not been diminished. Your potential is still there. It's still there, waiting to be tapped into. And the only way, again, to tap into it is to exhibit courage. Number 4, and this one, I know I talk about it a lot, so it almost sounds trite at this point, like I'm just beating a dead horse. But man, I can't tell you how important it is to surround yourself with people who exhibit behaviors you're after. So you want to surround yourself with courageous people, people that take risks, people that are not unafraid, but afraid and willing to go into the fray anyways. Because as you spend time with these people, you're going to learn from them. You're going to ask questions. You're going to observe their behavior. You're going to see what kind of results it produces. And even if you aren't asking them questions, some of that is going to rub off through osmosis almost. Excuse me, stumbling over my words. Just surround yourself with people who are courageous. You don't want to be spending time with flaccid jellyfish of men because that's what you're likely to become. So people say, well, Ryan, that'd be nice, but where do I find these people? They're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're where you want to be, where you should be wanting to be. They're at the gym, they're at church, they're in business ventures and business luncheons, they're in chamber of commerce, they're at events that are pertinent and relevant to you. There's coaches, there's mentors, there's emails, there's podcasts. You have to consume information that not forces, but challenges you to be courageous. And you do that by surrounding yourself with these kind of people. So take an inventory of your life right now. Are the guys around you there because they make you feel comfortable with your own decisions? I'll tell you what, it's hard. Some of the people that I'm around are hard to be around at times, not because of them, but because of how I feel. I was going to say how they make me feel, but they don't make me feel away. I decide to feel that way. But how I feel when I'm around these people, sometimes I feel inadequate. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. Sometimes I see what they've produced and I have not yet produced in my life. And that gap is a challenge. But you know what? I'd rather be a little stressed out because of that than be stressed out because I'm not even working towards my potential. Like we're both going to have stress. The guy who's sitting back and not reaching his potential, he's going to be stressed out and bothered because he's not doing anything to achieve his goals. The guy over here who's working hard to achieve his goals and surrounding himself with people who are doing good things is going to be stressed out because he's going to be pushing and driving forward. Surround yourself with those type of people. Put yourself in those environments. Assert yourself into the conversations. And the gym is a perfect place to practice this. I don't see very many people do this, and I wish you guys would do it. I wish more people would do it. Just go be social. Go be social. Instead of, I was thinking about this at the grocery store the other day. If you want to practice how to connect and relate with people at the grocery store, don't go through the self checkout line. Don't. I know it's easier. I know it's more convenient. That's why we do it. That's why it's there. I get it. But if you want to practice how to be social, then go to the line with the teller, with the checker, and talk to that person. Try to make it personal. Try to make them laugh. That's a good thing to do. Try to make that person laugh. Try to make it personal. Try to enlighten, enrich their day. See if you can do that. That takes courage. That takes a boldness. And the more you practice, the better you'll be. And that leads me to the last point, which is to practice being courageous. The more you practice, the more competency you'll have and the more confidence you will earn. So this could be little things like going in the checkout line instead of going to self-checkout. Talk to somebody. Another one I see a lot of guys deal with is, and these are little things, but this is how you can practice, is asking for things. Like if you're at the grocery store and they ring you up and it's $100, ask them, hey, are you guys running any specials or discounts? I know when you say that, or when I say that, some of you guys, your heart's beating a little faster, even as I say that. Oh my gosh, I would never. Right? That's the reason you should do it. It's not about the discount. Okay. I know you can pay the $100. That person knows you can pay the $100. It doesn't make you cheap or anything else to ask for a discount. It just takes a little bit of courage to be able to do it because there's risk associated with it. Somebody might think less of you. They might laugh at you. They might mock you. So that's why you should do it. And if they say no, cool. Hey, no problem. I just thought I'd ask. Last week you had a special. I didn't know if it was still running. That's it. No big deal. Again, to point number 2, it's not that big a deal. Here's another one you can do. When all the guys at work are like, hey, we're going to go out like to eat. What do you guys think? Where should we go? Be the guy who's like, yeah, I want to go here. I want to go to this place. Make a decision. Assert yourself. Not many men do that. Oh man, I don't know. I don't want to rock the boat. No, rock the boat. You don't need to be a dickhead about it, but it's okay to rock the boat occasionally and to assert yourself. Practice. If you're feeling, man, I really don't want to go to the gym or start jujitsu, just go practice being courageous. Maybe you don't commit to signing up, but you commit to going to one free class tonight. Pretty non-committal, something you can manage, and at least you did it. At least you did it. I hope this helps, guys. I really want more of us to be courageous. The world needs more courageous men. It's lacking for the courage that we need in our men. Most of us tend to be a little spineless at times, and we allow ourselves to be railroaded by others and to get stepped on and pushed around. And when we see things wrong or we see injustices or even see things that we want, we're afraid to tackle those issues because it might make somebody feel bad or they might get upset or they may not like me anymore. That's not manly behavior. I'm not pointing fingers at you. I mean, these are things I need to work on as well. I write these things down because they're things that I've been processing in my brain. I've had that question too. How do I develop more confidence? We're not after confidence. Confidence is the natural byproduct of courage and some level of competence. So, again, make a plan. By the way, if you need some planning tools, I have two for you. I talked about them earlier in the podcast. The 12-week battle planner, that's the one I have right here. That's at orderman.com/TWBP, as in 12-week battle planner. And then the 30 days to battle ready at orderman.com/battle ready. The battle ready program is a series of emails. It's free, so you can check that out. So make a plan. Number two, don't make such a big deal of every little thing. It's not really that big a deal. That'll alleviate some pressure, which is going to hopefully force you to move forward. Number three is don't tie your worth to the outcome of your actions. Number four, surround yourself by courageous men. And number five, practice in little environments that are relatively safe. And then you'll notice that you're getting better and better and better. And then you can evaluate. Am I more confident this month than I was last month? The answer is you will be if you do these things. All right, guys, that's it. I'll be back next week. Until then, go out there, take action, and let's all of us become the men we are meant to be.